Hi everybody. Okay, so this little video is about the quality of line, which is one of the criteria in which I will be assessing your work. In fact, in this few first class exercises, you will find this criteria constantly appearing in your marking scheme, meaning it is one of the things that I will be assessing you with. It is called quality of line or line weight. So if you want to find out more about this and you feel that this video is not enough and you would like to find out more, of course when you can go to YouTube, you can type in quality of line for drawing or line weight, and you will have a lot more other videos that could give you other tips and tricks on doing this quality of line. Okay, so now I'll be going back and forth in some JPEG images and some video footages of to demonstrate to you actually what this quality of line is about and how to do it. I will not show you the long nitty-gritty process, but I'll just show you a little bit of a sample of how to do it. Okay, now I'm going to start with some pictures from some JPEG pictures of work of other artists first. Okay, so if I were to take this example here, what we are talking about in terms of quality of line, there is a constant thick and thin of lines. Now what I'm talking about thick and thin is, let's just open this image here in Photoshop. Okay, for an image like this, the quality of line refers to things like this, where there is an area where it's thick and then it tapers off to something a lot thinner. Okay, you can see the same thing happening over here in this area, in fact the entire drawing. Okay, this is the same thing. You see that it has a thickness in this area here in the hair, and then it tapers down to something a lot thinner. Okay, and this is present in all the entire picture, right? See, even in the collar here, it is thick here, and then as it swoops down, it goes thinner, almost disappears, and then restarts again. Okay, so that's the thick and thin of lines that we call quality of line or line weight. It's very obvious here. You can see in the eye, right, where the eyelashes are. Here again, this is Anna from Frozen, so you have the thick and thin of lines as well. Yeah, thick lines, and then it tapers off to something thin. And just analyze the cheek. Yeah, it starts off thin and then it goes thick as it curves slightly and indents, and then again it darkens. But what is this thick and thin line about? What it actually does, it shows mostly where light is coming from, but also a way to kind of give a little bit more three-dimensionality to an object. Okay, in this case you will know that because it is thicker here, hence this is actually the shadow part. Let's look at another example, like this cat here. Take this one in the center, for instance. Where do you think light is coming from for this cat? Yeah, notice where is the thickest line, and the darkest line you have is around this area here, right? And lines are generally thinner here, but as it goes underneath the cat's chin, notice that it has gone slightly darker and then lighter again. Alright, so there is this transition of thick to thin. Alright, so if we go back to this, what quality of line refers to in this little pencil drawing that I've done is this thick and darkening of the line and this gradual change to something a lot thinner and lighter. Okay, so if you were to see it being drawn, for example, now this is Photoshop, the thick and thin of line will refer to a line that looks like this. Yeah, so there's a thin and thick of line. Okay, so I'm going to just show a video of how we actually do this in a drawing class with a few props. Okay, I would probably be giving you a lot more props during your class exercise, but not too much, because you still have to concentrate on how to build the form. Okay, so I'm just going to open up the video for the demonstration of the of how I actually did this drawing. Now I'm going to start with showing you what I'm going to draw. We have here a few pieces of organic material. Remember what organic means? So I have here a piece of palm branch that has dried out and fallen off, a leaf with a little bit of a texture, with dark and light texture, and a few pieces of wood that has fallen off a tree. So these are organic pieces I'm going to put together. And so I'm going to show you how I'm actually illustrating. Now, this is how I'm going to start off. Alright, this is a basic sketch line drawing, just to rough out the shapes of the arrangement that I have. Okay, you can see there's a photograph on the left hand side, and that's my reference, that's what I'm looking at. And I'm going to just start probably at this area here where I have placed the dried palm. And you see, I'm going to just press a little harder to start off because that's the darkest area of the photograph. Alright, or rather the image. And as I go through this organic material, you can see that I am trying to press on some parts and go light on certain areas. Alright, I generally will have darker lines where there are shadows. That's very obvious. Okay. So you can see that as I'm drawing, I have the way I'm drawing my line, I do not place constant pressure on the pen. There are some times I go a little light. There are sometimes I really give a little bit more pressure on the pencil, and that's how you actually achieve this quality of line. Alright, yeah. So I'm going back to this area here to darken it because I feel that it's really in the shadow. So I'm just going to darken that line slightly, and now I'm going to just create the details in the grains, the parallel grains that is on this piece of dried palm branch. Right, and the thickness of the line is not equal. If you notice, the grains on the palm branch, they are some are lighter, some are darker, so that's what I'm trying to achieve as well. So really, to create the quality of line, you have to be quite agile with your hand. You have to relax a little bit because your hand needs to go back and forth between applying pressure and just giving it a light stroke. Okay, now this area here, you notice that it is smooth, but there is still a quality of line. Yeah, parts where there is a nicer curve, sometimes I would go lighter, and then as it sinks into a valley, I go a little bit darker. So even with lines, you will notice that there is the smooth lines, there is thick and thin as well. There's a quality of line there. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the result of what I am drawing right now, which is this. Yeah, now notice that there are thick and thin of lines on this object here. Okay, so things that are in the shadow generally have a thicker line compared to the side where it's exposed to the light. And this is what I will be looking for. Okay, if I see that your drawing has a thick line on this side and an equally thick line on the other side, it means that there has been no application of the quality of line. At the same time, it doesn't mean that the side that is facing the light has no line at all. You have to be very careful to still apply a line to delineate or kind of create a border for the object. It cannot be, even though an object is white, you still need a line there. Okay, so I will also show you what I have done with some inorganic material. So you have those organic material. I have here a mug and also a kind of ceramic spoon that I got from Vietnam. It has some texture on it, some painting on it. So what we are trying to do is create some value for this kind of object. So the result for this would be something like this. Okay, so I'm gonna just open. Yeah, so you see again there's a quality of line here in this area here. Wherever it's dark, I generally tend to darken it. Now, how do I create this kind of shadow that you see? I do not fully require you to actually create these shadows, but it'd be nice to be able to have some sort of shading, just to create shadow for the class, for the next few class exercise. I won't be assessing you so much on that, because really that's under the creation of value class exercise. But it'd be nice if you can try and attempt a little bit, just to get a bit of practice in terms of creating value. All right, now if we go back to the video, one key thing I want to highlight to you when you are creating shadows like this is okay, so I'm coming back to this video and I'm going to show you how I create the shadow. Notice that my pencil line is going up and down in one direction. I'm not shading it in the sense that I'm not slanting my pencil and creating a blurry line. My lines are very distinct, they are very sharp, very clean, and I try not to blend them too much. Okay, if I want it darker, I slightly re-angle the line and go over the area again. Okay. Now here's a tip. I would like you guys to realize that, for example, if I want to surface shade an area, I do not go like this, where I do not lift the pencil at all. What I usually do is, for example, in this area, I will actually draw one line, lift my pencil and go up again. See? Up, up, up. They are singular lines instead of one continuous line going back and forth. It's up, go to the top, up, down, up, down, up, down. Alright? This is the way I'm doing it. And you should try and attempt to do it the same thing. Like you're going darker, go one more time in a different direction. Okay, so that's about it. It's a very short video, a short tutorial on how to actually do create quality of lines, which I will require to see in all of your coming exercises, both even the ones for perspective. Yeah. As for the shading, I really do not require it. If you feel that you do not have time to create the shadow, it's fine, because I will not be assessing you on it, but I'll definitely be assessing you on the quality of line and the form of the object. For example, in this cup, you can still see my construction line, how I started off. And I think it's fine if you want to leave it at that. Yeah. There are many ways you can actually start off. For example, this is how I started off for this illustration for the cup, right? The image is on the left hand corner, and this is how I started off, very basic shapes just to create the form out. Yeah, and this is done very lightly before I actually refine it and darken it. I did not rub once, I did not erase even a single time. I left it all there, and I think it's fine. There's a certain charm to actually see all this construction lines. Just make sure that it's not too messy. Yeah, if it gets too messy, then maybe you should try to clean it up a bit, but I feel that this level is still quite okay. Alright, so this basically ends my tutorial. Please do not think that whatever you learn from me in class is the only way. I do encourage that you go and look up videos. There are some videos on YouTube that has things about quality of line and how to do it. Okay, so thank you very much.